It is all good. We're still going to continue on. So we talked about the trailer, just to get a brief look at it, the timelines and such. And then once the trailer actually dropped, we did get the homepage went live, right? Which then kind of gave us a whole slew of information that they just didn't talk about on the cast. They just, they said a couple of small things, but really if you kind of go right here, if you take the homepage for what it is, like, yeah, it's got some little interesting tidbits here, right? They're really pushing Liu Kang as kind of the poster boy this time around, more than Sub-Zero and Scorpion have traditionally been, right? Over the past couple of years. Talking about the campaign and such. Oh, watch the latest trailer and cameo fighters, right? Which that little line alone was already going to send a lot of people into a frenzy, which we'll get into that too. But the biggest part of it that you want to go to is like this little spot right up here, the FAQ, because this, my friends, is where all the info you really want to look into right now. So, kind of just breaking down like frequently asked questions. If you didn't learn anything today, now you know what FAQ means. Who's publishing MK1? Who's porting, right? Developing MK1 for like different things. Like QLock is developing the PC version, right? They've done MKX. They have done MK11, I believe, as well. I bring this up for my PC folks because historically, MK games have been kind of hit or miss. A little bit more on the batting average they got when it comes to PC initial ports. Like initial ports, they tend to have a little rough, but they do that tend to, kind of level out over time. All platforms is going to be on Xbox Series S, X, PlayStation 5, whatever flavor, PC, and Switch. Funny enough, which that was when you saw that, like, did you did an eyebrow come up for you too? Were you kind of like, huh? Yeah, interesting. Like that's the only thing that came to mind for me. I was like, word.
They did 11 on the Switch too. I don't know if there's any blood in that, but.
It's all sweat.
Blood.
There's no blood. It's sweat, man. God. It's like the Super Nintendo one. It's all gray.
Oh,
it's just sweat.
No. There's definitely blood. I own the copy on the Switch for MK11.
Okay.
Just because I was just very curious as to what the end product was going to look like, and and I thought at the very least it would be a very fun portable training room on the go, which it did serve that purpose up to a point. It definitely wasn't perfect, and anytime you saw the game definitely got overloaded on the Switch at MK11, but it was very neat to have it in the palm of your hand. So I'll stay on the Switch version. Definitely not as good as the home consoles and as a PC. The PC port for MK11 was actually amazing, and I think that's mostly because PS4 was at that point 7-8 year old hardware.
About 6, I think.
So even just the animations of the crushing blows and the fatal blows, the fatalities all looked like so much better on the PC, and even just the game running itself. You can definitely tell there's a difference. If you get good at flawless blocking, and every really good player will tell you, flawless blocking on the PS4 is very different from flawless blocking on the PC. You kind of have to adjust your timing and get used to it when you switch back and forth. But it's not so bad that a good player can't sit down and be like, okay, I gotta speed it up or slow it down just a little bit. Yeah. But it's a great port, and I think they're going to do a great job with the next MK. I'm hoping.
Yeah, they just continue. I mean, they got plenty more time now. As every game that they've done, QLock, I'm saying, when it comes to PC port, it has gotten better, right? MKX. I'm just gonna keep it real. MKX was not hot. It was not it, Chief, when it dropped. I rocked that one.
First 2 days, I remember.
It was bad, but Injustice 2 came out afterwards. They did MK11. They did a couple other games between that too, obviously. So it gave them more runs at bat. So they definitely got better over time, so I'm sure they're going to knock it out here too. But a couple other things that, like I said, they stated here in the FAQ, some of the more important things. For one, hey, we got a release date. Meant to bring that up earlier, but we got a release date for September 14th, excuse me. Wait, early access is 14th, excuse me. Actual release worldwide is 19th, so if you pre-purchase. If you get the collector's edition, you'll have early access to the game a couple days beforehand, about a week. You get 5 days to get all the nasty tech to bring to your local and beat everybody with, because you've been practicing it for a couple days. Probably present company included, like maybe like I want to say at least 2 out of the 3 of us here will probably be about it. We'll see. I won't say who though.
It's kind of cool that they're, you know, and I feel like this is something that happens with fighting games, and even, you know, to touch back on history of NRS and the quote unquote tester advantage. That goes all the way back to, I mean, technically it goes back to MK9, but there wasn't really a community to benefit from that. I would say the tester advantage really happened in Injustice 1, where, you know, they brought in well-known MK9 players to test a game and, you know, give feedback and balance change requests. And, you know, not gonna lie, those players had a very, I mean, they were phenomenal players, obviously, which is why they got the invite. Players like Chris G, Rio, Arturo Sanchez, like, and more. And it was cool that they were even like branching out outside of like the MK9 community and trying to get like, you know, your regular Capcom guys in there. But those guys all had like distinct advantages in those first few months of like competitive play. But I mean, really, what were they fighting for? Like a few $100? There wasn't like a big pop bonus. There wasn't like, you know, life-changing money. Not that there is really anymore, but it was definitely disheartening, like knowing you're going into that like already at a huge disadvantage. So it's cool to see that they're doing something about that. And again, to tie it back to like fighting games, I mean, we all know somebody who is going to try to get the new fighting game like as early as possible. You know, this guy's gonna, you know, get charge me like $20 more to get it before Street Day.
Yeah. Fell off the truck.
Or, you know, certain
classic.
Yeah, fell off the truck, or certain places will have it. I mean, we've all heard those stories, and you know, sometimes those pan out to be true, and people actually get their copies like way in advance. Not that the game's like the same right when it comes out, but getting a feel for something, I think, for most players really gives you that edge. I feel like a lot of players play based on feel, and you know, you can't really play at your best until you're comfortable.
Absolutely.
So it's super cool to see that MK1 is going to have some kind of
I know you saying it. I'm like, I'm cringing every time. I felt
like you didn't want to say it.
Yeah, he said MK1.
It's like, man, it's funny. The funniest joke I've heard about it was it's MK1 again, so it's MK1 2 12. 1 2.
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet. Even I think Ed Boon even was just like, sure, like yeah, that works. That's exactly what we were planning. But no, for real, that's been a hot topic. I mean, even in other games right now, right? Street Fighter 6 is the latest example of it, right? Beta, closed beta, now cracked. Tournaments are already out there. Players already getting accused. Capcom hotlines like, hey, that guy did that combo way too optimized. So him, as soon as I lose that first round in Grand Final, I'll be like, right there, him right there. Yep. I'm a snitch so quick. I'm you know, they're kind of like you said, they're evening the playing field a bit. I mean, it's gonna be with your wallet, but hey, this is a business at the end of the day. You are buying a product, so can't really fault them for that. You can always just wait the 5 days, you know, learn it in 5 days. No one's putting a gun to your head. So with that, we do have a beta as well. I did want to state that we do have a beta. It's gonna be TBD on the date. It is gonna be in August though. We just don't know when. So, you know, clearly they're going to stress test everything, stress test servers, online play, which will also be rollback. Online rollback for MK.
I feel like that was needed for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's been, I mean, the rollback, right? The rollback movement has just now kind of taken everything. So now that's like, will it have rollback? Because it's just a specific question they have, which is the last question they decided to put on here, is like, will MK1 have rollback? Netco's like, yes, it will have it. Which to a degree, I believe it even had like an implementation, a version of it previously, but I don't think it's like the one that like, or the version that people are seeing a little more like popular to right now in the current games. Yeah,
I mean, so the first time that MK, or I guess NRS, implemented like a rollback system that they took from GGPO, was I believe a few months into the release of MKX, and it was like this. You had to sign up to like test it out. But I believe ever since then, like Surfer Injustice 2 and MK11, they implemented that, and the netcode for those games are phenomenal. You know,
I
as long as you're not playing on
online.
I believe I don't play on PC too much, but from what a good friend of mine, Costner's, told me, the PC version, it has a good netcode, but the matchmaking is a little flawed because you have way less people to choose from.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know, I'll just get like if I play with someone who's like in the country with me, it's great, it's awesome, it's flawless. But then most of the time it like tries to match me up with people in Europe or like Africa or like on the other side of the world for me, and it's just like no matter how good the netcode is, it's gonna be trash.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be implemented. So we got a beta coming through, but now let's talk about just, you know, this